So who's in and who's out?
It's the same 10 that we had at practice yesterday. So Sellinger is able to play. Wallace is out. So our guys that are out are Bradley, Favarani, Olenek, and Wallace. And Olenek is pretty darn close to returning. It looks like probably. I don't want to say for sure Wednesday, but it looks that's more likely than not. Bradley, again, like I said yesterday, will be reevaluated at the end of this upcoming week, and Wallace, it looks like we'll have the surgeries that we mentioned yesterday.
So on the ankle and
the knee, and probably sooner rather than later, according to him from our discussions today. I'll let him confirm that to you all when he talks to you later.
And what about Vitor? Will he have surgery?
So Vitor, we've talked about. The last thing that I had heard was that it doesn't. They can't figure out what's causing the swelling, and so they're continuing to try to figure it out. They may end up doing a light scope or something like that, but that has not been determined yet either.
Starting five for tonight.
I think Rondo, Bayless, Green, Bass, Humphries.
Brad, what have you seen in Chris this time around? Granted, it's been only a day or so that you didn't see in the preseason. Chris Babb.
No, I loved him in the preseason. We couldn't keep above our total that we're already contracted because of the position where we were. So coming into into training camp, we had a pretty good idea that we were going to keep the 14 guys that were already on contract and probably not going to be able to keep anybody else. But he impressed us every day in training camp. If you remember, we kept him as long as we possibly could, and then when he was done, it was the last time I talked to him, I just said keep doing what you're doing because you made a huge impact on all of us. And again, it goes back to not only what he does on the court, just the way he acts. He's a great team guy, and he's a very good defender. And so we're going to need a versatile defender on the wing, especially with limited numbers.
How does Sellinger
Jared to be a little rusty tonight? How did he look at practice yesterday?
Jared Sellinger? We didn't do enough to know, if he'd be able to shake that rust off, and he is. The last time he really played were the 2 games after All-Star break. So he hasn't played a ton in the last 2 weeks, but that's part of it. They can shake the rust off pretty quick.
How does your team change with him in the lineup?
With Jared Sellinger?
Yes, sir.
More shooting on the perimeter, maybe not more, maybe deeper range. Though he hasn't shot the 3 at a great percentage. And then he's probably our best low post scorer. And so to be able to throw the ball into the post is a good thing. Obviously, these guys are really hard to score on, isolated. I don't care who has the ball. And hopefully, if we're gonna be able to have a chance in this one to win, we're going to have to get some putbacks, some scrap points, those type of things. And Sully does that really well as well.
Is he on a minutes restriction at all? Or?
No.
Did you used to own a Pacers jersey?
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure I had a Reggie Miller jersey. I don't know. I can't remember wearing a Reggie Miller jersey, but I'm sure I had Pacers gear, and my son has a Reggie Miller jersey. Which now, he won't even wear it. Won't even think about wearing it. Try to tell him it's okay, in the summer, to throw it on occasionally. But he's so Celtics geared out right now. He's pretty bought into the whole thing, which is good.
Can you remember wanting to be Reggie Miller?
Oh yeah. Any kid growing up in that state. You grew up. So when I was a kid, growing up, going up through the '80s, and IU going to 2 national championships and winning them, and Purdue being as good as they were, and just down the landscape of high school and college basketball, and then Reggie enters the picture in the late '80s, and he just that whole '90s run was unbelievable that they had, and so everybody growing up there, had a Reggie Miller shirt or a Pacer shirt, but we all loved Reggie Miller. There's no question about that. At the MIT thing? Yeah, it was great. I didn't. You know what, Baxter? I would have much preferred to listen than be on a panel. You know, so I would actually enjoy it if it were in the summer, and I could take the time just to spend 2 or 3 days and listen to everybody talking. And you know, I've been fortunate enough to know Stan Van Gundy, but I pay to hear him talk every day of the week. Right? But you know, it's neat to hear all the different opinions on things. But there are a lot of other panels and a lot of other subjects that I would have been very interested in as well.
If you had to just pick one, type of lineup now
you know, it's funny that you say that because I was just flipping through the channels in my office real quick before I came out here, and St. Louis is at VCU, and last year we got beaten so bad at VCU, it's like it's just shame. But it had to have been going to the Final Fours. Those 2 Elite 8 wins were, those were rushes. But the first one, going back to Indiana and knowing that you're going back to Indiana was about as good as it could get.
What's the most difficult aspect of this Pacers team to prepare for?
Well, they're one of the best teams in the league, if not the best. So I guess the most difficult aspect there's multiple aspects. And I think you go into every game. Every team in this league has strengths at something, but the teams that have them everywhere are the contenders, and these guys are one of the contenders. They've got 2 All-Stars, Hibbert and George. I voted for the third one to be an All-Star, Stevenson. And West is their go-to guy most of the time, when it's all on the line. And that's unbelievable when you think about it. And they've got depth. Now you add Turner, who is a great scorer who won the game in here a couple weeks ago. And you already have C.J. Watson, you already have Butler, you already have Scola, you've already got skilled guys everywhere. They're legitimate in every which way. And oh, by the way, they're maybe the best NBA defense. Numbers-wise, they're certainly the best in the last 2 years. I don't know when the last time somebody had numbers like this in back-to-back years. You guys would know that better than me, but it's remarkable, their numbers.
What does Turner do for them, Coach?
Well, here's what Turner, in my opinion, Turner gives them a guy with moxie that can score the ball off the bench if things aren't going well. So, let's say George gets in foul trouble or Lance Stevenson doesn't have it going that night, whatever the case may be. Somebody gets the flu in the middle of a playoff series. Evan Turner is, as good as anybody on a given night. And so, that's a great guy to have backing up Stevenson and George especially.
Thanks, Coach.